Have you ever heard about the most dramatic moments in F1 history? Today we're counting down the top 10 most dramatic moments from the Formula 1 season. This season had it all, from exciting fights to surprises that no one saw coming. Make sure to watch it until the end. Let's go! Number 1. Bahrain Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen fought again in Imola after a brawl in Bahrain. Verstappen, third on the grid, started well and drew alongside Hamilton into the first turn, forcing him wide onto the sausage curbs. Before the initial pit stops, Verstappen led Hamilton by a narrow margin. Hamilton rallied following pit stops to win. Hamilton passed Williams' George Russell at the Tosa bend, but made a tiny mistake. He messed up while attempting to catch Verstappen. Hamilton sped up to avoid crashing as his car went off the track into the dirt. But the automobile didn't let go and forced him into the barrier, damaging the front wing. Hamilton was able to gently return to the race after stopping for repairs, but he lost a lap. Later, Valtteri Bottas and Russell crashed on the way to Tamburello, stopping the race. This allowed Hamilton to recover from 7th place and finished 2nd at the checkered flag to minimize damage. Number 2. Azerbaijan Grand Prix. After rising from 3rd on the grid to lead, Verstappen ruled Baku. After Lance Stroll's Aston Martin's rear tire went flat in the final sector, Verstappen's did too as he prepared to start lap 47 of 51. The race was interrupted when he shouted "effing tire" over the radio. Verstappen made the mistake with 5 circuits left and a 5-second lead over Sergio Perez, setting up a Red Bull 1-2. Red Bull suffered when Hamilton took the lead on the restart but went into the escape area and slipped down the order. As he approached his stop, he failed to switch off his brake magic, which warms up the brakes when not racing. Hamilton lost points due to his blunder. Perez won his first Red Bull race in Azerbaijan as Hamilton and Vettel left empty-handed. Number 3. British Grand Prix. Silverstone was a big part of the 2021 Formula 1 season because it was where title rivals Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen had a big race against each other. Sprint qualifying was first used at the British Grand Prix. Hamilton, who was in first place, was surprised when Verstappen won the short race. Hamilton challenged Verstappen fiercely on the first lap, and their fight came to a head at Copse's corner. Even though Verstappen seemed to leave enough space, the Red Bull car hit the walls with an incredible G1 G-force. Even though Verstappen was hurt, he was not seriously hurt. He went to a nearby hospital for safety checks. After a red flag stopped the race and Hamilton was given a 10-second penalty, he won by passing Leclerc and getting 26 important points on Verstappen. Number 4. Bottas bowls in Hungary. Before the summer break, Verstappen flew to Hungary to recover from Silverstone. In a damp and dreary Budapest, Verstappen started 3rd behind the 2 Mercedes drivers but moved up behind Hamilton into Turn 1. Lando Norris's McLaren and Red Bull outpaced Bottas, who then fell behind Norris but made a poor judgment call with his braking. The British driver crashed into Norris's back, sending Verstappen's Red Bull into the side. Bottas then hit Perez, knocking out the 2nd Red Bull. Number 5. Russell's incredible front row. When it rains at Spa-Francorchamps, qualifying is always a show, but no one thought a Williams would be on the front row of the grid. After Norris's big crash during qualifying, the 10 drivers who made it to Q3 had to give it their all. Williams came up with a smart way to warm up the tires that helped Russell take the provisional pole position during the last few minutes of qualifying. The British driver did a stunning run. Even though Hamilton couldn't go any faster, Verstappen took first place in the last few seconds to avoid a huge upset. Still, Russell's Q3 effort was one of those things that you couldn't quite believe was happening. And it paid off when the race was cut short 24 hours later, and he got on the podium. Number 6. Hamilton and Verstappen collide again. In the second sprint qualifying weekend at Monza, Hamilton intended to challenge Verstappen's Dutch supremacy. Mercedes sealed the top row on Friday, but Hamilton fell in sprint qualifying on Saturday. Verstappen started the Grand Prix 2nd and on the front row. Hamilton rose from 6th to 2nd behind Verstappen. Hamilton led following Verstappen's delayed stop on lap 23 of 53, but his late stop left them side by side into lap 25's first chicane. Verstappen started right-handed, then left. Verstappen had to climb curbs because Hamilton was straight. The Red Bull landed on the Mercedes after they launched his car. Hamilton's halo saved him when the Red Bull's rear tire grazed his helmet. And they didn't talk as they stepped out of their cars to start the long walk back to the pits. The incident cost Verstappen 3 grid positions. Number 7. Norris's heartbreak. Norris took the pole at the Russian Grand Prix with a superb lap in mixed conditions and was poised to win his maiden F1 race before rain postponed the race. Hamilton pressured Norris in the second half, but he held up. Rain began with 5 laps left, but the weather gods intervened. Hamilton pitted for intermediates after rejecting the first request, while Norris braved the rain. It wasn't clear who was right until Norris finished the first sector with 3 laps left in the rain. He lost control and slid off the course, handing Hamilton the lead and forcing him to crawl back to the pit lane to replace tires. After Norris's tragedy, Hamilton won his 100th F1 race, while Verstappen finished second after starting last after an engine swap. Number 8. Brazilian Grand Prix. The craziest event of the year may be the Brazilian Grand Prix weekend. Hamilton was disqualified for an improper rear wing opening utilizing DRS. Verstappen was fined €50,000 for touching Hamilton's rear wing in practice after the session. Both judgments were announced before sprint qualifying, adding stress. Hamilton impressively finished 5th from the rear of the grid. He started the race 10th due to a 5 grid place penalty for a new internal combustion engine. Hamilton moved past the pitch to chase Verstappen. Mercedes appeared to pass at turn 4 in the closing stages, but Verstappen pushed his car into the corner to take the lead as both cars skidded off the track. Mercedes went furious that the move went unpunished. Hamilton cruised by on the run to turn 4 and covered the inside to prevent Verstappen from doing the same. Number 9. Chaos in Saudi Arabia. Verstappen and Hamilton fought hard in Jeddah. Verstappen led after a red flag after Bottas was 3rd. Hamilton briefly led the first standing start. Verstappen passed Esteban Ocon and Hamilton after hitting the curb at turn 2. A major Perez, Russell, and Nikita Mazepin accident was another red flag. After Verstappen's aggressive restart, race director Michael Masi confronted Red Bull and Mercedes on the grid. Verstappen placed 3rd, behind Hamilton and Ocon. Verstappen let the second standing start restart after diving inside on mediums at turn 1. The Dutchman overtook him violently. Hamilton raced again after passing Ocon. Verstappen and Brazil complicate matters. After his first attack, Hamilton caught the first chicane to keep the lead and was advised to surrender strategically. Hamilton crashed with Verstappen after not recognizing he was losing the lead. Hamilton passed Verstappen again, but went inside at the last bend. Hamilton's daring pass in the penultimate corner held Verstappen wide. Saudi racing was strange. Number 10. Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Hamilton was on track to win a record 8th title with a dominating win in Abu Dhabi. But Nicholas Latifi's late safety car added one last twist to this incredible season. The safety car process caused a lot of trouble because only some cars were allowed to Dunlap themselves. In the end, it set up a great finish between Verstappen, who had fresh soft tires, and Hamilton, who had old hard tires. Verstappen jumped up the inside at turn 5 to take the lead, which was his first chance to go for it. Hamilton tried to catch up on the next 2 straights, and he was able to do so. However, Verstappen stopped him at turn 9, which sealed the move and gave him the title. It was just a crazy ending, and we might never see anything like it again in F1. That's it for today's video. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos like it. Until next time.